hello, welcome back to another episode of A Tale of Creepypasta. Today I'm here with Redude, JD File and Joe. However, JD File and Joe are not going to say much as they're too busy being fat or something.
Frick you, man!
Okay, well anyways, the story we're going to be reading is John the Killer. So, we might as well just get into it now. Everyone knows the story of Jeff the Killer, right? It's an amazing way to start off the story, just instantly
I was
mention
about to
Jeff the
say.
Killer. And mostly everyone knows about Jane. Oh yeah, the shitty OC that's Jeff's girlfriend or something, I don't know. Jane.
Oh,
Jane.
yeah.
Yeah, have you not read that? It was pretty shit.
No, I've never read that. I think I might have
Okay,
heard
well
of that.
anyways, it's pretty much just a shitty OC that's Jeff's girlfriend, that's all you need to know. Jeff's attempt to make someone like him, and everyone knows that if it didn't work out, but does anyone know the story of John? Oh my god, no. Who is this John guy? I've never heard of him. Now Jeff had been on his rampage for the past 3 years. He is approximately 16 now. Jeff was still killing and doing his thing while trying to stay away from Jane. The usual. But
Wait, now Jeff has been on a rampage for the past 3 years. He's approximately 16 now. Are you telling me Jeff the Killer was 13 years old when he started brutally murdering people?
Because he's an overpowered, like, fucking Mary Sue that can kill everyone in his path because he's just so overpowered. But still, even if Jeff wasn't capable of quote-unquote normal thought anymore, he still felt kind of lonely. There was a slight emptiness that Jane was supposed to fill, in brackets. So much for that. Jeff had a new idea. He decided if a type of lover would reject him, maybe a little brother type of person wouldn't. Amazing sentence. He was in the town of West Valley, a pretty small town. You all know West Valley, right? It's the most popular
Right.
town in America.
West Valley.
Jeff wouldn't be able to stay long without getting caught. In time, he noticed a young boy. Oh no, this is not going well. He noticed a young boy who was about 13, who seemed perfect. The kid was kind of naughty and awkward, so he was picked on a lot. Just watching those bullies made Jeff angry. It caused him to remember parts of himself he had locked up for many years.
Are they trying to make a mass murderer relatable?
Yeah, they're just trying to make a mass murderer relatable. It's like fucking... It's actually fucking disgusting. It's like, oh yeah. You see this guy that is, like, killed fucking dozens of people? He's pretty relatable, right?
You know, when I talk about Jeffrey Dahmer, the first thing I mention is the kid was kind of nerdy and awkward.
Yeah, he was kind of naughty. You know, like, he did kill a lot of people, but he was kind of naughty, you know?
So, I mean...
Oh, John wouldn't take it though. He often fought back, and in that moment, Jeff saw something in John's eyes. Just a small spark of pleasure from fighting. It reminded Jeff of him in some ways. That feeling, Jeff could only explain as an odd feeling in the past, but now fully understands what it was. John had no idea he was about to become Jeff's latest victim. John felt an odd feeling when he fought sure, but he never gave it much thought. Thought it was an enjoyable feeling, so who really cared? John hadn't known anyone was watching him fight back. If he had, maybe he could have gone away from what was about to happen to him. Maybe he could have been able to do something to prevent it. John wasn't able to do much damage to the boys, but enough to keep them away for a little while. John went about the rest of his day with that feeling. The next day, there was a news report. 3 boys were killed today on proxy.
Took a big leap there. I think we skipped a few chapters.
No, we didn't. It's really the next paragraph. It's really the next paragraph. Oh god. No one witnessed the event. However, based on how they were killed, police suspect that the same unknown killer who has been murdering people all across the country killed them. Wait, so, what way does he kill them to the point where the police can just automatically assume that it was him?
My question is how 16-year-old Jeff the Killer, who it's Jeff killing, right? How 16-year-old Jeff the Killer continues to dodge the feds, and at the same time, clearly has a driver's license because he's getting across the country.
it's like he's clearly he's not just like walking around the country. He's like
about halfway through his murderous rampage. When he was 15, he stopped at like the local DMV, got his driver's license. Nobody had a second thought.
Yeah, like here's the thing: Jeff is supposed to have like bleached skin, so apparently nobody noticed it. It's just like go to the DMV and some white guy, this like, pure white, just walks up and takes the driver's test. Oh my god. A young boy who survived the killer once is the only person who ever saw him. The description was chilling, but we can assume he is now in West Valley. Oh my god. John, of course, heard, he spelled like H-E-R-D, the rumors of this killer, but never expect him to be in his own hometown. John was even more surprised when he realized the victims were the bullies that were picking on him yesterday. Was that just a weird coincidence? John was confused as to why them specifically, but once again didn't think much about it. What John didn't know was that Jeff had simply done it as a quote-unquote favor to John. The next day seemed the same as any other to John. The teachers at the school told the students that something this unusual could cause stress for some students, so they had to go to a mandatory counseling session. John eventually had to go even though he really didn't want to. Hello, John Williams. His name is John Williams. Hello, John Williams. How are you today? The counselor asked in a sweet voice. Fine, John replied, not really wanting to be there. So how have you been reacting to the recent tragedy? How do you feel about it? She asked. I didn't really want to talk. I didn't really know them very well. It's obviously sad, but I'm not affected all that much. John replied honestly. John wrote down what he said and told him he could go, but if he needed to talk to, he could go see her. Why is this word so confusing?
Makes
it's so hard to
sense.
fucking read.
John.
It wasn't long until Jane heard the news report. Jeff hadn't left much evidence for a few months now. She had hoped he just died somewhere, so the trail on Jeff was warm again. But the West Valley is such a small town.
Still waiting Italian coffee.
Jane said, "What could Jeff possibly doing there?" She didn't want to wait around to find out, so she set off for West Valley. She wasn't very concerned about what Jeff wanted there. They're just concerned with finally killing him. She only wanted to get at least part of this nightmare of her life to end. The real nightmare was just beginning for John that night. The nightly routine was normal for John. Homework, dinner, TV or video games, and in brackets, sometimes both. He's so fucking cool.
John the Killer is a gamer.
Then, yeah, he's going to be the next Jeffrey Epstein. But but Jeff snuck in the middle of the night. John heard some noise in the downstairs section of his house and went to check. That's when he saw his mom. He saw her with a wound in her stomach. Oh no. She was stabbed. John couldn't believe what he saw. Jeff was there with a blood-stained knife in his hand and that evil grin carved on his face.
Wait a
Holy
second.
shit.
John
Holy
heard
shit.
Jeff. He heard Jeff sneak in, but he didn't hear his mom crying as
Yeah,
she's
it's like-
being stabbed.
Yes,
repeatedly.
so yeah, like what's
He heard like the
wait,
creak
so-
in the floor that Jeff made when he came in
heard
the
Jeff
house.
sneak in, but he didn't hear his mom getting murdered by Jeff.
Also,
So-
was Jeff waiting on John to come downstairs? Because it seems like he
Yeah,
was just
it's like-
standing there.
it was-
with-
It's like, why was he awake? It's like, wouldn't he be asleep? What the hell? John yelled. Oh, I forgot the voice that I did for John. Oh, it was so funny.
something like that.
What the hell? John yelled, and Jeff turned to look at him, still with that horrible grin. John screamed and ran from the room to go get his father, who had a metal baseball bat. Hopefully, when John arrived in the room, however, Jeff somehow beat him to it, and John walked in just in time to see Jeff stab his father. What?
Rip.
Yeah, okay.
Rip the unnamed
Are we,
father
are,
and
are we
mother.
supposed to like feel bad for these characters? Like this is really this.
I mean,
first
it
time
seems like they
recording.
tried humanizing John, so I guess.
Yeah, it's like this is a blow moment to say the least.
say
Just
the
go
least.
to sleep, old man, Jeff said. John's dad let out a yell and falls to the floor dead. Oh no. No, stop! John yelled. You didn't need them, Jeff said. I'm the only family you need. That voice, John thought. That was horrible, evil voice. It chilled him to his very bones. The voice was so full of malice and a sick type of joy. John ran with terror. Don't worry, friend, I won't hurt you. I won't hurt you despite me killing both of your parents. Jeff called. John ran outside and bumped into Jane suddenly. John yelled again, worried that there were two of them now. There's only two of them now. Don't worry, you don't need to be afraid. I'm here to help. Trust me. Jane said, trust me. She looked like Jeff, but her voice was somewhat soothing. Oh, this needs to be a soothing voice. Don't worry. You don't need to be afraid. I'm here to help. Jane said, trust me. She looked like Jeff, but her voice was somewhat soothing and comforting, yet that darkness over her eyes made her seem soulless. We must hurry, she said. Jane grabbed John and ran fast away from the house. Jeff only caught a glimpse of them running off. Damn it, Jane! He yelled, clearly angry, even though his face had its permanent smile. Jane had... What does that mean? It's like, oh yeah, he was smiling.
He couldn't. He's like got an actual condition. Can't stop smiling.
Oh my god. Jane had taken John back at a hotel room. She was hiding out during her stay. She knew for a fact if Jeff wanted to kill John, he simply would have, and that worried her more. If he didn't simply want to kill John, what did he want? What the heck is going on? Who are you? Who was that guy? John yelled in a panic.
Wait a second. Wasn't Jane's goal to kill Jeff? She literally just took John and
Yeah,
kidnapped
it's
him.
like she really just took John and just ran out of there. It's like what? Wasn't your goal to kill Jeff? Why are you running away from him now? Are you
I
not
like how
even
we're
really
picking
trying to-
apart the plot in it. John the Killer Creepypasta.
John the Kill Creepypasta. Okay, first of all, calm down. Jane said. I love how the voices I'm doing are not consistent at all, just like switching in between ones. My name is Jane, and that guy was Jeff. It's too long a story to explain, but he likes killing people, and I've made it my life's goal to finally stop him. As for what's going on, for some reason he doesn't want to kill you, and that concerns me. John was still panicked by this whole thing. John was just as confused as Jane. He killed my parents, John mumbled, obviously scared. He killed mine too. That's why I hate him so much. Jane replied. I will try to protect you from him, but I can't promise anything. They kept on talking and discussing Jeff. They began trying to make a plan to kill him. They knew it might not be long until Jeff found them again. Then suddenly, oh my fucking god. Then suddenly Jeff charged into the room.
Into the room? Were they just in the house? What was Jeff doing that whole time?
Room. They were in a hotel room.
Do he just let him leave?
Yeah,
he didn't bother following me.
Like, how did Jeff find out where they were? It's like,
he
what?
stayed at the scene of the crime with the two bodies.
Yeah, you just fucking hell.
Decided not to leave.
Hello, Jane. As much as I would like to love the chat, I have some business to finish, he said, looking at John with that evil face. Stay away from me, John yelled. What kind of lies has my former girlfriend been feeding you? Jeff said. What the hell are you talking about? I'll never date someone as vile as you. Jane said, clearly angry. Whatever. Details don't matter. I need John. Jeff said, not as interested in Jane. He went after John and Jane cut him off. It wasn't long until the two were caught in a fight. Both of them were out for blood. Fucking epic battle scene coming up. Jeff kept on making swings with his knife at Jane.
They engaged in a knife fight? How are they failing to stab each other?
It's like, what are they doing?